Welcome back to the show, and thanks for staying with us. Joining me on the show today is Miss.
Thank you, Ms. Ofina. Thank you. It's nice being here once again. Thank you for the opportunity, and I hope we have a wonderful time together.
I hope so too. Meanwhile, Mr. Graham is a social activist and a public affairs analyst. Now on to the report for today. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Edo State have arrested a 68-year-old grandmother, Evelyn Ogenewu, and 6 others for allegedly trafficking drugs. The agency says 23 kilograms of processed cannabis with Ogenewu and a 43-year-old suspect during the operation. According to State Commander Michel Ofoyeju, officers also raided forests and camps across Ovia North East and Owan East and West local government areas, seizing large quantities of skunk and cannabis hidden in plantations and 5 camps. 5 additional suspects were apprehended during the coordinated raids. In total, the command says 1,956.92 grams of cannabis were intercepted. Over half a hectare of farmland was destroyed following intelligence-led operations. The agency insists investigations are ongoing and has urged residents to support efforts to curb illegal drug cultivation and trafficking across the state. Mr. Graham, when we have a report like this where a grandmother who is supposed to stand as a watchdog to reprimand the youth is now the one involved in this report?
It's quite unfortunate that we have gotten to this point as a society. The truth of the matter is, this is not just a coincidence at all. This is not just a coincidence at all. The lady in question, if you want to take in historical records, I believe today is not possibly at the age of 68. It's not actually the first time she's carrying this act. This is somebody that has been in the business over the years. You see, because oftentimes when we see a menace or we see an issue in society, we don't just start judging from what we are seeing. We try to look at the retrospect, what has led to that. We try to look at the history of what has brought the reality we are seeing today. And I believe that for a 68-year-old woman who happened to be a grandmother to be indulged in such a crime, it shows the level of decay we have gotten to in our society. It shows the level of deterioration that our society has gotten to. And I believe she's not the only one in this network. There are others that are associated. Because, see, if there's no network base or there's no network base in this kind of business, because this is a well-organized trade. The issue of cocaine, the issue of cannabis, the issue of hard drugs has been a long existing trade right before now.
do have reduce the rate at which drug is being trafficked, considering how desperate these traffickers have become, considering how smart and creative they have become in their skills. Different day we have being executed, being portrayed by these very traffickers. What do you think the authorities in charge should do differently too, so we don't lose this fight entirely?
The current statistics of drug consumers in Nigeria have shown that the highest level or the highest intakes of drugs currently in Nigeria are the young ones, the youth in question. And I believe that if there's a proper sensitization, I believe that it will really help to cut the high level of demands. If there's a high level of rehabilitation among the youths, a lot of our youth have seen this as a subsidiary to get high because they feel that it is not another pattern of life. So I believe that if the government can pull forth campaigns, constructive campaigns, to reach across to the teen youths, to expose this canker that is in our society, starting from the primary level, which is the family, using other arms of socialization, the church, the school, and other grants to campaign against the high level of intakes of drugs, showing the damage. Believe me, there's statistics I recently read by a health practitioner guy that in the next 20 years from now, 20 years to 15 years from now, there will be a high level of insane persons. When I mean insane persons, I mean mad persons in the society because of the high consumption of drugs among our youth. So I believe that if there is a proper campaign that will expose this canker called high drugs, expose the disadvantage of the intakes of drugs. When the market structure is low, when the demand is low, it will discourage those that are supplying.
All right.
Somebody is buying.
All right.
The high level of demand.
All right.
The high level of demand is high. So the market will flourish.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Graham, for that perspective. Meanwhile, Department of State Service, DSS, have arrested a sixth suspect linked to the 2022 massacre at St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, where over 40 worshippers were killed. The suspect, Sani Yusuf, was apprehended in Igwosa community, Edo State, nearly 4 years after the attack. Security sources described Yusuf as a senior commander of the Islamic State West Africa Province, ISWAP, who had been on the agency's watch list since the incident. He was reportedly tracked down while hiding under a false identity after fleeing first to Kano State and later relocating to a remote area in Edo. Investigators said Yusuf confessed to participating in the planning and execution of the church attack and other violent operations, including a military checkpoint assault and multiple kidnappings. Authorities have described the arrest as a significant breakthrough in ongoing counter-terrorism efforts. I think this is a good news, and the fact that military played the role of for 4 years. They followed up this terrorist for 4 years, and then today we have the good news that he has been arrested. I mean, it is a good news. What do you make of this report, Mr. Graham?
All right. It's just like you said. It's a good news. And I must recommend the Nigerian military for swinging into actions and not letting this to sweep into the carpets. You know, my heartfelt condolence to the family that's in the Owu crisis or the Owu massacre that took place some years ago, exactly 4 years from now. You know, it was a strategic one. It was an eyesore. You know, it was really an eyesore to the country at large. And I must recommend the Nigerian Army and other intelligence that are taking into action to bring this the leader of this you know, it's really a recommendation. Yes, we must give them their flower. We must give them their flower for meeting into tax or committing up into tax. You know, and the only thing I will say here is let the right thing be done. Let the right thing be done. It's not just capturing and keeping. And at the end of the day, this person still comes back to the society and become an extra terrorist to the society, and they become a machinery in the hands of politicians. Because oftentimes we have seen where having criminals, we have seen where those that have been declared wanted for perpetrating evil acts in society, they in one way or the other, they gain that freedom and come back and become a tool in the hands of our politicians to cause harm to oppositions. So if the DSS has taken this level, yes, I must appreciate their effort. But the but there is, even as much as this has been done, please let the rightful thing be done. And needs investigation, and needs court orders, and needs proper judicial procedures that have been taking place. Because I know this is Nigeria. This is Nigeria. We must tell ourselves the truth. If he's found guilty of the act, he should face the wrath of the law. So if he's found as victorious to others, I mean, why taking a terrorist like this into court process? Why taking a terrorist like this into court process? The penalty for terrorism should be instant death. There's no need to negotiate with terrorists. No need. America did not negotiate with terrorists. Israel did not negotiate with terrorists. So I think the rapid thing so that it will forward a signal. Because the longer this person stays in the society and the custody of DSS, he becomes a prey in the hands of politicians. I know our Nigerian politicians, sorry to say this. Even if I am in the national TV, I'm sorry to say this, because at the end of the day, negotiations should be taking place.
Allegedly.
Negotiations should be taking place. And yes, allegedly, negotiations will be taking place, and who knows what will be the next. So I must recommend DSS for taking this action. Kudos to them. More should be done.
All right. I like the point that you raised. I think I'm joining you to say that beyond the arrest, the needful should be done. The right proportion of punishment that is due for a terrorist should be meted out. It shouldn't just end in being arrested. Meanwhile, confusion has erupted within a faction of the Islamic State West Africa province. A senior commander was allegedly killed by an improvised explosive device planted by his own group. The incident reportedly occurred on February 24th in the Lake Chad Basin, sparking mistrust and tension among fighters operating in Borno State and nearby areas. Trouble began when a unit intelligence member confronted Senior Commander Ame Musa over the death of two members, Abu Nazer and Abu Qasim. Sources claim Abu Qasim was killed when an explosive device planted by his own faction detonated during clashes with rival fighters from Jama'atu Ali's Sunnah leader Awati Wal Jihad, commonly known as Boko Haram. Abu Nazer was reportedly killed in a separate encounter involving the same rival group. The consequence of death has deepened suspicion within ISWAP ranks with allegations of friendly fire and operational failures emerging. The crisis underscores the ongoing violent rivalry between ISWAP and Boko Haram as security forces continue mounting pressure on insurgent strongholds in the region. Mr. Okilo, what do you make of this report? It's now seeming like two enemies of Nigeria, two enemies of Nigerians are now having a clash. Do we call this, do we say this is God intervening? This is God coming to perform miracles, coming to help the innocent Nigerians that has been killed. What do you make of this report?
All right. Because I'm a Christian, my consolidation to our Muslim brothers and to other religions in Nigeria, you know, I am not going to be biased, but I will speak from a Christian point of view before I move to the matter on ground. It brings me back to what happened in the Holy Book, where the enemies of Israel, you know, started fighting themselves. You see God intervening. You know, biblically, I want to say this is God's own way of intervention.
Okay.
Because oftentimes I see issues of ISRA members, people around, Islamic extremists, and I begin to ask myself, yes, in the Niger Delta there was a focused fight for resource control, marginalization, as the case may be. Now I ask myself, these people, what are they really fighting for? Because I believe the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria for freedom of worship. I mean, you shouldn't force anyone to adhere to your religion. It should be on the basis of conviction. You know? It should be on the basis of, you shouldn't take the life of someone because the person does not believe your faith. Or because the person is not in support of your practice. It should be a free will conviction. I mean, let's look at God as a universal force. Don't you think if God really wants everybody to come into repentance, don't you think he has the power to do that? I mean, it's just an instruction, a command, and everybody should bow. You know, so if today we are seeing this, now I want us to look at this from a strategic point of view. The strategic point of view, or what we call the war's strategic point of view. When two rival groups begin to fight, it could be as a result of resource control among internal force, internal aggression.
Okay.
It could be as a result of recognition. It could be as a result of leadership tussle. Because I believe most of these terrorist groups are not working in their own capacity. Allegedly, there have been some reports of internal support coming within our sector and outside sectors. So oftentimes, when you begin to see terrorist groups fighting among themselves, it may be as a result of leadership tussle, recognition tussle, resource control tussle. You know, but to me, whatever will lead to the complete elimination of the terrorists in Nigeria, it should continue. It should continue. Yes. If it will take for them to keep killing themselves, for us to have peace. I mean, before now, the northern part of Nigeria used to be a peaceful and an anticipating geographical location for everyone to be.
Okay.
I mean, there is what we call a low level of income when it comes to accommodation, when it comes to life. You know, the northern region of Nigeria happens to be a well peaceful and unaccommodated side. But over the years, for the past 20 years, in the proliferation of terrorists coming from the northern hemisphere of Africa from the Sahara into Nigeria has led to a high level of breakdown of laws and orders. And now the northern area has now become a red flag for anybody to stay, even among the original settlers.
All right.
So, they will continue, if they will continue to fight themselves, who knows, they should continue, so that there will be peace. They should continue.
All right, you just spoke like a Christian, the Christian that you are. But then, on to the next part. A social media after Redeemed Christian Church of God youth pastor Dr. Bola Abiodun threatened a woman online for calling him Mr. instead of Doctor. The clash began when a user identified as Tomisin addressed him as Mr. Abiodun while accusing his associates of misconduct. The pastor fired back, insisting on his title and warning her against what he described as disrespect. The exchange quickly escalated, with the woman repeatedly referring to him as Mr. in lowercase. In response, the cleric claimed spiritual authority, saying he was an anointed man of God, capable of invoking curses. He warned her to apologize or risk facing serious consequences. The situation took a dramatic turn when he allegedly issued a death prophecy declaring she might not wake up if she failed to apologize. Before 11 p.m. on February 23, 2026. As of press time, church leadership had not released an official statement, while Nigeria debates the shocking confrontation. I mean, this is a serious one, Mr. Graham. A lot of questions have been flooding my mind, but I'm just going to allow you to do justice to this. You know, in the report we just looked at now, you spoke from the stand of a Christian and a church person. Now we have a report that has to do with a church leader. Now, I want you to give your perspective on this report without bias. The first question I like to ask is, how should public figures even handle criticism on social media? And then, should professional titles be insisted upon in online debates? Goes on people, or it's something you allow people choose to either hold to or not. What is your take on this report?
All right. This is a technical matter at hand, a very technical matter. You know, the first question I want to ask you is Ms. Fina, and I want you to answer me is, are you not a Christian?
Of course, I am. I'm a Christian.
Okay, you're a Christian. Okay, I think we are on a similar page here now. You see, oftentimes when I see matters from clergymen, I try to view things from a narrow point of view. I try to look at personalities. In as much as we are all Christians, the question is, are we attributing the traits of real Christians? Are we attributing the traits of the word Christians? Who are Christians? Christians are those referred to as Christ-like. And oftentimes, whenever an action is being perpetrated by those we are assumed to be clergy, the first question I ask myself is, will Christ do this? Will Christ do this? If Christ will not do this, then there's a vacuum, there's a lacuna somewhere. Because by their fruit we will know them. So we need to run this thin line. We need to create a separation here, so that we will begin to know that even among the body of Christ, there are those persons that are not even supposed to be there. There are those people, there are imposters. There are people that have decided to pollute the so-called body, the body itself of Christ. Taking coverage in the world, Christians, and they begin to do illicit things in the society. I mean, it's really not a compulsory thing for someone to be addressed. You see, the first thing I want to tell people is, before people begin to address you, your composure,
okay,
personality will pass a message. You don't force honor. You don't coerce respect. Respect is aim. Respect is. I've seen a situation where there have been a lot of anti-organization on public figures. As a matter of fact, the truth is, oftentimes most of these social handles by senior public figures, are we aware that oftentimes are not even handled by the public figures in question. They have managers that are handling their platform, but in this case, this is an individual. I mean, it shouldn't be a thing that will begin to generate costs. It shouldn't be a thing that will begin to generate issue. You see, tied to sheep will not take anyone anywhere.
Okay. Okay.
As a matter of fact, if you feel you're a doctor, you think you're a professor, you think you are anything, it should be in the premise of your profession. It should be the premise of your profession. When you find yourself in the social media, in the social environment, like the social media in
You know, while this altercation went on between these two, the pastor and a lot of persons has taken screenshots, and permit me to read out some of these screenshots. And then today, this morning, a follow-up report was posted that after the course which the pastor placed on doesn't, the question is, story from the angle of the girl. Fine, this man is older than this young woman, and I asked him, he said he's a father of 4, and then he's old enough to be, and then he demanded respect from her. But then, should respect be forced from people, or is it supposed to be earned? Was the girl right if we now establish the fact that this girl has disrespected this man? Was she right to have disrespected the man? No. But then the man's action after the alleged disrespect, because I mean, it's not even everyone that will see this avoidance of addressing him with his title as disrespect. Considering the fact that the discussion was even happening on a social media space. Now let me read out. See what the woman said. Mr. Please teach your boys to keep their hands to themselves. Someone like me hated it that I switched off that part of my brain that needs to instinctively giggle when being tickled. It took time before I could even feel that sensation normally again. It's indeed a sexual assault. She was referring to the pastor's boys, his followers, and then this is the pastor's report. I'm a doctor, not a mister. Don't refer to me as mister again. I'm not your mate. This was making a report. He didn't say the report part. He only saw the part where she referred to him as mister rather than doctor. And then the girl said, mister with him. We might consider this disrespectful, but then see, I'm old enough to be your father. Don't disrespect me if you don't see my other side. Is he old enough to be her father? The answer should be yes. But then let's continue. The girl continued calling him mister, and then he said this. I'm anointed man of God. I'm an anointed man of God, he meant to say. I can curse you now, and it will take effect for the rest of your lives. Bible says, touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. Try me and see. I'm a messenger of God. The girl called him mister again, and he wrote, if you call me mister one more time, you won't like what will happen to you. Do you know who I am? And then we now have where he laid the curse on the girl. I, Pastor Dr. Bola Abiodun, hereby pronounce a curse on you that if you don't retract and apologize for not calling me by my appropriate title, you shall pass on to glory in your 11 p.m. on 23rd February 26. If you wake up tomorrow morning, then I'm not a man of God, and I'm a bastard. And the girl is still alive, Mr. Graham. As of this morning, she has made a post showing she's alive. The pastor also wrote, if nothing happened to this girl and she is alive and well by tomorrow morning, then you never called me and anointed me. Then I'm a fraud and I'm not your son. But I know you are not a liar and you called me. He is addressing God. Let's take the two last write-ups he made. Bible says, my children shall call upon my name, and I will answer by fire. The host of heaven bear me witness. You said, ask, and it shall be given. Do this one for me, Lord, and prove that my fasting is not a waste. Let's take the last on you in the 11th hour. If I am truly an anointed man of God and you are the one who called me, please grant my request and call this girl unto glory now for mocking my academic achievements. Oh my God. Mr. Graham, what is your take on all of this?
Honestly, I see an uncultured and unmannered, acclaimed man of God. The truth of the matter is, did God answer? No.
I mean,
a Confucianist. And God is not a Confucianist. As a matter of fact, we should not rub the name of God to the mouth. Simply because we want to show forth that we are this, we are that. I mean, it's to one part it's a laughable situation, and in the other side it's really a thing of concern. And I believe that our religious body should begin to put into place to watch those persons we bring into leadership, into church leadership. We don't just see anyhow persons and we put them into leadership, because at the end of the day, they will bring mockery to the body of Christ. If it's in a well-civilized nation, I think this will be brought to book. Because this is a high level of threat to life.
Imagine praying so hard.
By this time tomorrow you will die.
Imagine praying so hard for someone else to die.
Tomorrow. So, very season, the Holy Book said Be seasoned in your word. We must be very, very seasoned as men of God, as a question may be. We must be seasoned with our words. I mean, this is social media. Oftentimes when I come online, when I come to social media, I don't take everything I see online so serious. Sometimes I make some posts and I see some ugly response. It doesn't vex me. Because I feel everybody has their own perspective. I want to force you to be according to my own view. If you may have a different view from me, it ends there. It ends there. Does it change who I am? No. Does it belittle me? No. Does it change my personality? No.
No.
When I consider most of these things, I just feel it. So I don't take everything I see on social media so serious.
All right. All right.
It's a childish act. It's a childish act. People that are brought to this point, if someone does not address you in a manner you feel with, there are you can kindly channel your complaint. And when you feel the person is not going to your point of view, you can kindly leave that conversation.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr.
That person. There is what we call a block button. You can block the person.
Thank you so much, Mr. Graham. I wish we had much more time to dwell on this topic. It's really concerning. It's disturbing the fact that this man is praying so hard for the life of another human to be taken by God just because she called him Mr. rather than Doctor. And then we have a whole lot of problems in Nigeria. We have the terrorists, and this man hasn't prayed for any of these terrorists to die. Rather, he is praying for a girl who only called him Mr. rather than a doctor to die. I really wish we had time to really buttress on this topic. But then, because we do not have all the time to ourselves, this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Atlantic Society Watch. Thank you so much, Mr. Graham. It's always beautiful having you on the show. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Gina. I really appreciate it.
All right.
I look forward to doing this with Atlantic TV. Thank you.
We're open for sponsorship of this program, jingles and advert placement, news and event coverage, personality, society and political interviews, product, service promotions and commercials. Watch us live on www.network.tv, Apple TV channel 205, a fasted TV platform, Apple TV, Niger TV, Iroko TV. Connect with us on ATM Social, subscribe, like and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X at Atlantic TV Net. Remember and don't forget that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ofina Anucha.
Of Media and Broadcasting Communication, panelist Professor Chris Ochonogo, immediate past head of Department Journalism and Media Studies, University of Port Harcourt; Dr. Ijoma Tobosia, Secretary NUJ, River State; Dr. Sarah Joe, University Orator and Associate Dean, Faculty of Communication and Media, River State University, Port Harcourt; Dr. Ibiere Koki, Ignatius Aju University of Education, Rumolomini, Port Harcourt. Chief host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, Chairman, Morrison Group. Date, Tuesday, 10th March 2026. Venue, Gate Place Hotel, Kilometer 5, East West Road, adjacent Obirikwere Flyover, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Time, 10 a.m. For more information, please call Kainde Paul Obofade, 081-063-41777 or Samuel Ajinwo at 090-454-00744. Signed, Management. Frontline.
across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains. We bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the